Welcome in, everybody, to episode 5 of Real Spill, where the truth wins. You already know the deal by now. It's your boy, Scott Proctor. I'm joined by Ellis L. Williams, who covers the Carolina Panthers for the Charlotte Observers. Also, Ellis's this week marks the 1-year anniversary of Ellis's time at the Charlotte Observer. Congratulations on that, my man. Keep killing it. But how we doing today, bro?
Doing well. What a year it's been, man.
Crazy, right?
It flew by, but the league keeps us going, as always.
As always, man, it's always busy. And this week is no different, man. So let's talk about it. Start off with bump and run. Talk about some headlines from the previous week. We got to start from Monday Night Football, man. The Chicago Bears, Justin Fields, and the Bears bum rushed the Patriots in New England on Monday night. But the story was probably the Patriots and their newfound quarterback controversy. Obviously, Mac Jones was pulled after throwing just 6 passes, including an ugly interception on a hell of a play by an impressive rookie, Jaquan Brisker. I know you've had your eyes on him just a little bit, but obviously enter Bailey Zappi, who's looked solid in the absence of Mac Jones in a couple weeks. But what did you make of what unfolded with that on Monday night with the quarterback situation, and how do you envision that playing out moving forward?
One word for you, Scotty Bands: goofy, man. That was goofy. I have a friend, and I apologize for this. He asked me in a super flex league, should he start Mac Jones or David Montgomery? He only needed 4 points for the fantasy football victory. I shot some texts over to those in Patriots land who cover the team, and I was told Mac Jones, and my guy lost that week, man. So apologies there. I understand that's the story. I think it's pretty clear that Mac Jones will be the guy going forward, just with reporting out of there now. For you, though, I feel like the real story is Justin Fields and what the Bears did Monday night. Scotty Vance, how's the city feeling, man? What's up?
Man, it was a welcome sight, to say the least. We all know how the Bears offense has looked this season, prior to that Monday Night Football explosion. But that's what we've all been waiting for, and that's kind of what people in the Justin Fields camp have really been waiting on, because we know he has the tools. Obviously, we know that he's a bit hampered by the talent around him offensively. But again, you see his ability to evade sacks, to extend plays, to use his legs. I think he talked about it after the game, that basically this offense is kind of began to steal quarterback run plays from the Baltimore Ravens. And that is absolutely genius, because, our guy Matt, he said earlier this morning, and it's true, Justin Fields is, maybe just as good of a runner from the quarterback position as Lamar Jackson. So the more the Bears can utilize that part of his game, the better they'll be off. So, but that was a hell of a night for the Chicago Bears franchise, and hopefully they can continue that. But obviously Tuesday, November 1st, as you know, is the NFL trade deadline, man. Let's talk a little bit about that. What's the deal that you would like to see get done, or maybe one that you expect to go down?
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of talks between teams and agents and executives from this week through the deadline. Of course, this weekend will be red hot. I think one name to watch, and we saw it circulating earlier this week due to a Jeremy Fowler report of ESPN, but Kareem Hunt and the Browns have been sort of at a standstill with his contract since the offseason. If people can remember back to August, which feels like forever ago, Kareem Hunt and the Browns had a small little hold-in there. It only lasted a couple days, but Kareem hasn't been happy with his contract for a while now. I've had people inside that building just say you can tell that there's a different energy there as the Browns are blowing games and struggling to get some
reeling.
Right, as they wait for Deshaun Watson. So there's some running back needy teams out there. Of course, the Jets already acquired James Robinson, so that's one suitor off the table. Right. Maybe the Eagles want to add a former rushing champion, but I would keep an eye on Kareem Hunt.
That's interesting for sure. And yeah, I mean, I saw the report yesterday that, it's not just them taking calls on him, like they're actively, kind of shopping. So that's going to be interesting. And yeah, Kareem Hunt I think he's still a top 15 or so-ish back in the NFL. Obviously, it's hard to show that on a weekly basis, running behind Nick Chubb, but I think he's going to improve a team drastically, obviously depending on where he goes. But, in terms of me, obviously the Chiefs are a Super Bowl team. I think we all know that. With zero issues offensively, but the defense, particularly the pass rush, I think could still improve. I think before Sunday, where Chris Jones added 2 sacks on Jimmy G, L'Jarius Sneed was the Chiefs' cornerback. L'Jarius Sneed was the Chiefs' leader in sacks before Sunday, so that's obviously not great. But Bradley Chubb, obviously almost said Nick Chubb because I just said it, but Bradley Chubb of the Denver Broncos, I could see him being on the move. Obviously, the Broncos are taking calls on him right now. Bradley Chubb is in the last year of his contract. Obviously, the Broncos are kind of reeling as well. Definitely flying underneath expectations for this season. And I think, obviously, Bradley Chubb would make a huge impact on the Kansas City Chiefs defense. And obviously, it would help the Broncos, too, because as you know, they gave up 4 picks for Mr. Unlimited, not to mention the 250 M's. But, you might want to recoup some of those picks in that Russell Wilson deal. Maybe dealing Bradley Chubb could do that. But yeah, let's move on, my guy. Let's move on to the big spill, man. I think it's time we talk a little bit more about the NFC South, because this is a fascinating division, something that I don't think we saw. Obviously, now through 7 weeks, every NFC South team is either tied for first place or just one game back of first place in that division, which is just chaos, man. Let's talk about the Bucs, man. Let's start there. Who they play the Baltimore Ravens on Thursday night. That game will go final before you all see this video when it's posted on Friday morning. But let's talk about the Bucs, man. At 3-4 with a stalling offense, Brady looking like his age. What's the biggest issue with the Bucs right now to you, Ellen? Are they still a Super Bowl contender in your eyes?
Yeah, I love how you had me come on here to make sense of the NFC South. That's why I'm paid the big bucks, right?
Facts.
This division, brother. This division. Holy smokes, on Gotham. Let's start with the
on Gotham.
On Gotham, brother. Happy Halloween, right? Tom Brady is, first of all, not being protected. I watched it live last week, of course, with the Panthers stunning the Buccaneers 21-3.
Yep.
Interior pressure is really frustrating Tom Brady. He was only sacked once and only hit 3 times, but you can just tell when you put on the tape that he is uncomfortable near his feet. He's not trusting the players in front of him. On top of that, the Bucs have the worst rushing offense in football. They were 32nd in EPA per rush going into the Panthers game, and they ran for 24 yards against Carolina. Tom Brady needs a rush. Right. Tom Brady needs a rushing attack. He needs a running back who can catch the ball out of the backfield consistently. And then he needs a defense that doesn't give up 173 yards rushing to a team that just traded its best running back. Are the Bucs still a Super Bowl contender? No. Should they still be the favorite to win the NFC South? Probably. But, man, we don't know yet.
Yeah, it's a lot of questions. I'm not too worried about the defense at this point, obviously, although letting, PJ Walker on Sunday, kind of have one of his best games that we've seen in a while isn't great. We'll talk about that a little bit later, though. But I'm not too worried about the Bucs defense. But, yeah, the offensive line, as you pointed out, that's a glaring issue, and that's something that can really derail this team's chances of really making a playoff run. You mentioned the run game. Somebody I want to see more of is Rachaad White. Obviously, you mentioned, that pass catching running back is somebody that Tom Brady has always had an affinity for. Rachaad White fits that mold. They're starting to involve him more in game plans on Sundays. I'd like to see him get more involved, especially with Leonard Fournette kind of not having the same pop that we've seen the last couple of years. I like to see more Rachaad White, but yeah, the Bucs are in trouble, but they still got Tom Brady, so I expect them to when it's all said and done to still be there in the mix. Let's move on to the Saints, man. To me, this is one of the biggest disappointments in the entire NFL so far this season. They're sitting at 2-5. This was a team that I thought could really compete for an NFC South title, definitely be a playoff team. It doesn't look that way. Injuries haven't helped, of course, but why does this team look like one of the league's worst, arguably, with so much talent on that roster?
Well, this team didn't know who they were before the season. Keep in mind, I believe the Philadelphia Eagles have their first-round pick in this upcoming draft, which probably sits in the top 5 right now.
Sure
right?
does.
So talk about not self-evaluating first. Like, I don't care how you view your opponents and your schedule when it comes out. If you don't understand what your team is and where you stand, this is how you end up here. On the field, I understand. I see all the names, but the ball is a young man's game, like rap, right? And we're talking about a lot of players on that Saints defense that are in their 30s. They had Tyrann Mathieu. Well, there's a reason the Chiefs were cool with partying with them, right? Jarvis Landry is a guy on offense who hasn't played in weeks. Michael Thomas not healthy. Alvin Kamara getting up there in age. They have the names like you said, but I'll put it this way. There's a reason Sean Payton retired after 1 year without Drew Brees. And
he said, peace.
Yeah. He's gone. He's gone, right? He said, Drew Brees is gone. I'll give it 1 year. Now I have Jameis Winston and Taysom Hill. Yeah. Nah, man, I'll go talk on TV and let the PR campaign drive me to the most coveted coach next offseason. We'll see where that ends up, but Sean Payton has left the Saints in peril.
No, yeah, he did. He did, and he kind of looks he looks smart for jumping ship. Obviously, it's not ideal. It's not the best look, but he obviously knew what was coming for this franchise, and yeah, I mean, everything you said was spot on. I think the biggest thing with this franchise at this point, they're devoid of a quarterback and a coach, and obviously, you need those two things if you want to be successful in National Football League. Dennis Allen just has proven to not be a great NFL head coach. We can run his career NFL record as a head coach right here on the screen, but it's not great. His previous stint in Oakland wasn't great. I think he had back-to-back 4-12 seasons. Obviously, this year isn't off to a great start either. Again, with so much talent, although it's kind of aging, particularly on that defense. This team should not be 2-5 after 7 weeks. But if you start Andy Dalton multiple times in the season, you're probably going to lose more than you win. But let's move on to this third and final team before we get to On the Prowl. That's the Atlanta Falcons. This is a frisky team to me, man. They're obviously 3-4. They're playing better ball than most people probably expected in the post-Matt Ryan era. It hasn't really all been that pretty, it's particularly offensively for this team. But what's impressed you about Atlanta so far, if anything, and what do you expect, on Sunday, obviously, when they host the Carolina Panthers?
I'm most impressed with Atlanta and specifically head coach Arthur Smith's commitment to the bit. They refuse to pass the football. They will run just not to pass.
That man do not care about a single fantasy football owner. He simply don't care. He don't give a damn.
Doesn't care if you own Drake London. Doesn't care if you own Kyle Pitts. And he doesn't care if his team is down 21-0.
Still running the ball.
He's still going to run the ball. Marcus Mariota threw it 14 times in a game where Joe Burrow had 400 passing yards. Are they frisky?
At the half.
Right, at the half, exactly. Are they frisky? Sure. They also have the 32nd ranked defense according to DVOA, a Football Outsiders metric. So I don't know. That's what makes this NFC South inflection point so fascinating, because I tweeted it. Who wants to win the NFC South this year?
Right.
Who?
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, again, Arthur Smith, I think he's honestly doing a solid job. I think this team is pretty much well coached on both sides of the ball, most Sundays. And Sunday was actually the first time that they got blown out this season. Even in their 3 previous losses, they were all close against the Rams, the Bucks, and I forget their opening loss, but all of those were close before obviously getting blown out by Joe Burrow and the Bengals on Sunday. And, obviously you're able to, when you run the ball more than just about anybody in the league, maybe aside from the Chicago Bears, that's going to help keep you in games. But obviously they got to get Drake London more involved. Kyle Pitts has to see the ball more. Those you don't draft a tight end, the highest a tight end has ever been drafted, to throw him the ball 2 times a game and be the most run heavy team in the NFL. That doesn't really add up. But again, at 3-4, the Falcons, they play the Panthers 2, I believe, out of the next 3 weeks.
Correct.
The Falcons' schedule is pretty soft in the second half, so it's going to be interesting. I'm not exactly ruling them out yet. Again, it's if they can get Drake London and Pitts involved in the second half, it could be something. But the NFC South is fascinating, man. Let's move on though, man. Let's talk about our final NFC South team, man, for our On the Prowl section with the Carolina Panthers. Let's do it, man. The Panthers picked up their first win since Week 3 on Sunday. We mentioned it earlier, over the Tampa Bay Bucks in their first game. In the Panthers' first game without Christian McCaffrey, Carolina's defense held Brady and the Bucks' offense at just 3 points, as PJ Walker tossed a couple touchdowns. How were the Panthers able to get it done in probably one of the biggest upsets of the season so far this year?
Yeah, look, I was going to name PJ Walker my dime of the week, but then I realized he deserves a dub, because he literally got the dub. Thanks. And he was dropping dimes. And I'm not a math guy, but you can add all that up to a dub at some point, because that's literally what happened on the field. He outdueled Tom Brady. Two of the best 3 throws in the game came from PJ Walker.
Facts.
You know what? I'll say the top 3 throws. There was a deep crosser he had to DJ Moore that went for 12 yards and a first down near midfield. Dime. And those were just as good as his 2 touchdown throws. The halftime throw to DJ Moore sparked a Michael Jackson Thriller meme with DJ getting his 2 feet in.
Yeah. I mean, that was a crazy throw and catch. Welcome back, DJ Moore, but that was a crazy throw and catch.
Dude, I didn't know where he was throwing it when he launched it. I'm watching it in the box, and then I'm like, right on the money is where he was throwing it. Yeah. PJ Walker's feeling himself, and this is a guy who led the XFL in passing yards. Yep. He has every belief in his ability to throw the ball. After the game, he was asked what he's learned in now making his first consecutive start and now in line to start his third game in a row for the first time in his career.
Yep.
He said, I know I can make every throw, but not every throw has to be made.
Damn.
Right? That's up there with Geno Smith. They wrote me off and I didn't.
Facts. That's a mic drop.
That's a mic drop, man. And this is going to be PJ Walker's team until said otherwise by interim coach Steve Wilkes. The running game showed up, obviously, D'Onta Foreman, Chuba Hubbard, those back-to-back plays, 2 carries, 77 yards, and a touchdown late in the third quarter. And then this defense forced Tom Brady and the Bucs into 2 for 12 on third down. It was a special moment at Bank of America Stadium, and one that could be a spark a Panthers run here, like we've said. We're going to learn a lot about the NFC South as the Panthers face the Falcons twice over the next 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Is this actually a run the Panthers are going to go on, or was this their high point? That's why they play the game, and we gain more information each week.
Absolutely, man. And I want to talk about that. I want your opinion on that. And what do you think is more likely? I guess I want to start here in terms of likeliness. What do you think is more likely in terms of this Sunday? PJ Walker to continue to play well, or that running game continuing to look like how it really hasn't looked before Sunday?
Yeah, I think the running game has a good chance to continue and pick up where it left off.
Yeah.
Now, Chuba Hubbard is nursing a ankle injury. We're going to get more information on that throughout the week. Yep. But what the Panthers are able to do now that Christian McCaffrey is not on their football team, and this is not a Christian McCaffrey was holding the Panthers back segment.
Right.
Is this potentially a Bill Simmons you in theory segment? Perhaps. But really, the reason the 49ers traded for Christian McCaffrey is not to gain a running back who's going to have 20 carries.
Yeah.
They gained him to take advantage of him in the passing game, right? But Christian, as a rusher, needs 15, 20 carries he doesn't want to come off the field. So the Panthers were unable to have any real change of pace. And that's what the complement of D'Onta Foreman and Chuba Hubbard do for the Panthers now. So I think this running game has a real chance to be whatever you want to call it. Thunder and lightning, fire and ice, Batman and Robin, whatever. They got a 1-2 punch here.
I got you. One last quick thing before we move on. We're talking about this running game, and you mentioned Chuba Hubbard, may or may not be available this weekend. That could possibly open up some time for somebody that I know that you've mentioned in the past, somebody you might be high on. That's Raheem Blackshear. Talk a little bit about him and what has you excited about, his prospects in the league here moving forward.
Yeah, this is a running back that the Panthers were able to get their eyes on when the Buffalo Bills came to Carolina for that third preseason game. Talking to people inside that building, they said they really liked what he brought. They compared him to a Christian McCaffrey light, like the closest thing you're going to get to a Christian McCaffrey that's available on a practice squad, right? I could see Blackshear's opportunities just increasing, whether Chuba is healthy or not. They like him in the passing game. If this team gets down in negative game script and needs to throw, I would expect Blackshear to have some chances there. And he's an electric kick returner. So this team is pretty deep at a position that no one seems to care about in the league, but tends to be the spot that people call on for them to win games.
Absolutely. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Hopefully we can see more of him moving forward here, but we're going to move on, man. We're going to move on to nickel and dime. Man, we foreshadowed it a little bit earlier, man, but we're going to talk about, who was at 10 last week and who wasn't even worth a damn nickel, man. I'll let you start, El. Who was your dime from week 7?
Yeah, I'm going to give my dime. I think this is the second week in a row I'm giving it to a coaching staff, but specifically Andy Reid and the Chiefs offense get my dime for the way they schemed 49ers pass rusher Nick Bosa out of the game. It was just brilliant stuff. And you saw a little bit of this when the Eagles played the Cowboys and Micah Parsons, where you just and Scott, you'd be able to talk about this much more than I would and much better. When you just run directly at that edge rusher, you leave them unblocked, whether you're making them zone read it or you're just running jet right by him, leaving someone of that talent unblocked in theory takes a lot of balls on a whiteboard, and in practicality, when you have the speed to hit the edge, it makes too much sense. They neutralized that 49ers pass rush, frustrated Nick Bosa all game, and blew out the best defense in football by 25 plus. It was nuts.
I love that because it's part of the reason why Andy Reid is the best coach in football. Obviously, Bill Belichick is probably the GOAT of this coaching stuff when it comes to football. But as of right now, it's Andy Reid. And, that's a great example of it. That's what the great coaches and coaching staffs do. They find a way to, take out the opposing team's, most lethal weapon, best player. and that's what Andy Reid did. I kind of saw a similar deal with Nick Sirianni and the Philadelphia Eagles a couple weeks ago on Monday Night Football. They did the same thing to Michael Parsons. You just don't block him. You put him in zone read situations. You kind of make him unsure of where he's going and where the ball is, and you're typically able to take advantage of those elite pass rushers and demons on front seven. So I love that pick. My dime is Joe Burrow, man. Joey B, Joe Shiesty, whatever you want to call him. The man is on a roll, and it wasn't just Sunday where he, destroyed the Falcons before halftime, had over 400 yards passing, 4 total touchdowns. He has been on a roll the last few weeks after having an awful week 1 performance against TJ Watt and the Pittsburgh Steelers. Joe Burrow is on fire. I think he's going to continue that on Monday night against the Cleveland Browns, but that's my dime. I'm going to go into my nickel. It's Aaron Rodgers. I got to go with another quarterback. It's Aaron Rodgers because quite honestly, I'm a bit sick and tired of him. Aaron Rodgers at one point in time was my favorite quarterback before Patrick Mahomes arrived, but it's getting to a point where watching him every Sunday is really just more of a chore than anything. And I understand, I'm sensitive to the fact that he's not dealing with the caliber of weapons that he's probably accustomed to, but that doesn't excuse not only how he plays on Sunday, but just the faces and, all the, going on McAfee show on Monday and talking about teammates making mental mistakes and they shouldn't be on the field. He just can't be developing a good aura in that locker room for really a young team, and him being in kind of an old head. I don't think it's going well on the field, off the field. Aaron Rodgers is my nickel. He got to turn it around.
Yeah, no, that's perfectly put. And I'm going to for my nickel, take a receiver on a team dealing with similar problems in Green Bay. It's Mike Evans of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And you can say a lot about what Tom Brady's going through right now compared to Aaron Rodgers. Yeah. But y'all,
hey, I got to ask you, because you was in the bank on Sunday for that early drop that was for an easy touchdown on Mike Evans. What was that like, seeing that in person? What was the reaction of Panthers fans when that play went down?
No, that ball felt like it was in the air for an entire weekend. And when it was in the air, man, everyone's just thinking like, oh, yeah, here go the Panthers. Tom Brady at it again. Like, let's just start. It was the third play from scrimmage, bro. The third play from scrimmage. And then it hits him in the hands. He bobbles it. He kind of bops it up in the air. And I'm thinking, that receiver in me, he's going to run under this.
That's exactly what I thought too. He's going to run it up. But
he's going to run right under this. Doesn't happen. He grabs the ball, throws it in the back of the end zone. And you think, okay, the Bucs will get over this. They didn't. They just simply did not get over that play. Mike Evans even said in the locker room after the game that he felt the life leave them.
Yeah. Biggest play of the game right there.
Exactly. I'll leave you with this. According to Next Gen Stats, Mike Evans' next closest defender, the next closest Panther player to him was 10.4 yards away. It's the longest, biggest drop of the season. Probably the biggest drop I'll ever see in my life. I couldn't believe what I saw. Mike Evans, you broke fantasy football hearts. You're probably the reason your team lost. And the reason you are my nickel for this week.
Man, that's tough. Hopefully the Bucs can turn it around. But if not, it's going to make that NFC South just even more interesting, my man. But we're going to move on. We're going to close here with our 2-minute offense, preview a couple of matchups from week 8. Let's start here, man. 49ers at Rams. Couple NFC West teams kind of reeling a little bit. But who do you like in that matchup?
Give me the 49ers. This is a game that is really the Christian McCaffrey Bowl, meaning I have some people close to the Rams who were irate when McCaffrey ended up with the 49ers. Obviously division opponents, and it's been reported, and I can confirm that the Rams were in those negotiations as well.
Oh, wow.
Now you're going to see McCaffrey take on that team. It's going to be a fun one, and I'm going to ride with the 49ers.
I would typically go with the 49ers, but I don't think that they're going to sweep the Rams. Obviously, the 49ers already got him earlier this year. The Rams are coming off a bye, obviously. I think Van Jefferson's going to be back in the lineup. He's going to, provide some a deep threat for that offense, something that they've been liking since OBJ, has been absent from that offense. So I think Matthew Stafford, that offense bounces back and kind of ties up this season series. So give me the Rams on Sunday. How about the only matchup this weekend between two teams above 500, and it's the New York Giants and the Seattle Seahawks. Who would have thought? The Packers and Bills are playing, two teams not above 500. Bunch of other matchups, but this is the one matchup. Who do you like in this one? Two teams that are just flying above all expectations.
Yeah, we're in the upside down. Man, give me the Seahawks just because basically I'm gonna give you the NBA treatment on this one. No one has to watch this game until the final 3 minutes. Because the Giants just win close games and the Seahawks only play in close games. Give me Geno Smith doing something crazy. I don't know, man.
Completely agree. This is going to be another one that comes down to the last couple of minutes. Give me the home team as well. I'm rocking with the 12s. I like the Seahawks to kind of end this Giants run, this Giants hot streak. Last one here, man. Alluded to it earlier. Monday Night Football. Joe Burrow and the Bengals playing host to the Cleveland Browns. Who you liking that one?
Everything says Bengals. I'm going to take the Browns. A lot of people, my Browns Twitter algorithm keeps telling me that this is a must-win game for Cleveland.
It is, and it wouldn't surprise me if they won it. I expect another close game, but I think a late drive from Joe Burrow, T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, and the crew gets it done. I like the Bengals to keep rolling on Monday Night Football, man. But this has been a blast, per usual. Thanks for tuning in to episode 5 of Real Spill. For your boy, Scott Proctor, Ellis L. Williams. We'll catch you next time.
Thanks for watching. Feel free to check out our other videos and don't forget to smack that subscribe button down below while you're at it. Also, for more great and original content, head right over to bvmsports.com.